Hey everybody, Jim and Joshua are here to talk about the big event here in the comics industry, the death of Wolverine.
Rest in peace, bub.
That's right. So we think, though, that there probably just won't be one Wolverine for long, right? There's something going on right now in the comics.
Yeah, Marvel launched, or they're going to launch a new comic called Wolverines, like plural, where like some of these characters we're actually going to talk about in a second, I've like banded together to pick up where Wolverine left off. But in the vein of passing on the mantle, like when Batman died for a while, Dick Grayson, you know, former Robin, picked up and became Batman. When Captain America died, I say died in air quotes because these people always come back.
Right.
And then like Bucky Barnes took over for him, his sidekick. So I think someone's probably going to take over for Wolverine and become the actual Wolverine. We know Marvel has this series right now, but anything could happen in the future where maybe they consolidate just down to 1 instead of 5.
Okay, well, we have 7 picks here of people we think could be the one. Let's start with X-23. I'll be honest here. Don't really know anything about that character.
A little after your time, maybe because it was from the X-Men Evolution cartoon, and then they put her in the comic books because she was a big hit on that TV show. And she's just like pretty much a female clone of Wolverine. Although where he has 3 claws coming out of his hands, she has 2 out of her hand and then 1 on her foot.
Wow, okay.
She like kicks people, and if you want like a copy of Wolverine, this is as close as we're going to get because she's an actual like genetic clone, but of course a girl. And she's actually had a much like higher profile lately. She's been running around with the all-new X-Men, which is written by Brian Michael Bendis, which is a big comic book for Marvel. So she's in a very high place. So if we wanted a copy of Wolverine, she would be the place to go.
Okay, now here's a character that goes way back with Wolverine. Very complicated history we don't have time to get into, but Sabretooth.
Sabretooth.
Yeah.
Is he his dad? Is he his brother? Is he his son? I don't know. But yeah, he's like the arch nemesis of Wolverine. Sabretooth is he's just crazy. He murders people just for fun, just to hurt like Wolverine's feelings and stuff. But you know, Marvel has this event going on. This is a minor spoiler. It's already been like spoiled if you read the previews. So if you don't want to know what's going on in Access, like pause or skip this part. But they're having this thing where all villains become heroes, and Sabretooth becomes a hero. And so if Sabretooth's a good guy, suddenly he pretty much becomes Wolverine.
Yeah.
They have almost the same powers.
The blonde Wolverine.
Yeah, blonde Wolverine.
And taller.
It's much taller, yeah. He's not a runt. So I think if that sticks, and it looks like it actually might stick for a while, it might not just be like just a contained thing in this event, that he could become the new Wolverine if he's a Sabretooth with a good conscience.
Okay. Now here's a character who also complicated history, but her profile really has risen a lot in the last few years thanks to the movies. Mystique.
Yeah, Jayla, as we call her around the office, or just me.
I think it's just you,
but she doesn't have like Wolverine's same powers, although she could just turn into Wolverine. We actually just get like someone who looks just like Wolverine. But him and her have like a really long implied like romantic relationship, but also they're also like rivals and always trying to like kill each other and stuff. Wolverine stabbed her like a bunch of times and she always survives somehow, because she has like a sort of a soft healing factor due to her shape-shifting ability. But she could pick up right where he left off. I don't really know what her like motivation would be, but I could see it happening.
Yeah. Now we also have Dakin, who of course is Wolverine's kid.
Yeah, and he has another claw arrangement that's kind of different, where he has 2 comes out here and 1 comes out of the bottom of his wrist.
Yeah.
And he's sort of like Wolverine's like sexy son is how they play him off. He has a little like sex appeal, and he has these pheromones that he can use to like influence people and like romantically or just to manipulate them to get what he wants. And I think he's also bisexual, or at least he's like slept with a man to get what he wanted out of him or something. So he'll do anything.
All right.
So if you really want to make Wolverine really trendy and modern, you just go Dakin. Oh, Dakin's like super evil. So it would take a really big change of heart for him to fill the heroic shoes of Wolverine. And there was this comic called Superior Spider-Man where Doc Ock became Spider-Man, and he sort of had not a change of heart, but he tried to be like a different person to just be a better Spider-Man than Spider-Man could ever be. So maybe Wolverine, his son Dakin, will try to be a better Wolverine than Wolverine ever was, just to show up his dad.
Daddy issues. Gets him every time. Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah,
now we saw her and Wolverine go at it in X2.
Yes,
and
such
that's
a good fight.
And so she definitely has kind of a similar similar kind of.
She got the adamantium, and she's born of the Weapon X program, or at least her father's. Adamantium bonding process was a part of that anyways.
Yeah.
And she's all about honor. And in the Death of Wolverine story, we saw her and she's like, well, it would be honorable to do this. And it would be honorable for me to offer you up to the people who want to kill you so I can escape. So she has a warped sense of honor. But I think it might, seeing that Wolverine's dead might like stir something in her to want to honor like his legacy. And because he is the biggest sort of benefactor of her father's adamantium work. And speaking of that, in the new Weapon X program in the Death of Wolverine, there's sort of this mystery of what was this new Weapon X program and what were they doing. So she might want to, again, like go after the people infringing on her father's work, as well as like by becoming like the new Wolverine.
She certainly seems like she's
got
the
enough
strongest
claws,
motivation.
each finger.
Yeah. Now here's one that I find kind of surprising: Kitty Pryde.
Kitty Pryde, yeah, that was sort of sort of an outside shot. But if anyone in the entire Marvel Universe is Wolverine's sidekick, I would say be Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing as like Batman and Robin, but when Kitty Pryde joined the X-Men like way back in the day, like he was sort of like her big brother, and they would always like take care of each other. And then she like grew up, became a more mature character, and they were more like equals, and they would like really respected each other. She was the one X-Men to actually show up in the Death of Wolverine story, so I think that speaks to like their bond, which is pretty cool. And her powers are more defensive, and she's like really like level-headed. Which is the exact opposite of Wolverine, who just likes to kill people and stab them. But still, I think she would look good in that costume, and I think it would be a cool thing to see a different kind of Wolverine.
All right, now, and here's a character who's definitely been in the news a lot lately as well, Deadpool.
Yeah, Deadpool. I mean, if Marvel really wanted to cash in, they could combine their two mega characters, Deadpool and Wolverine, and make them one. And really, he actually has a long history with Wolverine. They fought a lot, and they've like teamed up a lot, and they're both born of the Weapon X program. Deadpool's got a healing factor.
As seen in that wonderful movie, X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yes, check that out. Don't check that out. Yeah, so they've got like a lot. There's a lot going for Deadpool with that, thematically speaking. But also, it'd be cool to have him, just make jokes about Wolverine, because he can break the fourth wall, and he'd be like, okay, well, now that I'm Wolverine, I need to start smoking cigars. I need to call everybody Bub, and I need to be in like 10 different X-Men comic books, and the Avengers,
and he would
too.
totally address, too, like what you were just saying about sort of the cynical nature of merging their two big characters.
This franchise jackpot.
So what of these 7, I'm just curious, which one do you think is the one?
Gosh, if I really had to pick one, I would like to see X-23, really.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like, because she's, like I said, her profile's been like raised a lot in the recent years, and I think she's a really cool character a lot of people don't know about. Case in point right here.
Right.
So that would be cool to see her like put on the yellow and blue and become Wolverine.
Right. My vote's with Lady Deathstrike.
Lady Deathstrike, yeah.
All right, but all right, guys. Well, for all things Wolverine and more, keep it locked here on IGN.